Welcome to this edition of Fit Round the Table, where we explore developing our fitness for later life in the company of leading local experts. And no one more expert than our own Lady Mary Peters, the Olympic gold medalist who won our hearts through that amazing performance in Munich in 1972, and who has continued to remain special ever since through her tireless work and incredible generosity in supporting thousands of sports people for well over 50 years. In the very recent past, apart from raising well over £1 million to continue the legacy of the Mary Peters Trust, and as well as writing a book about the incredible journey she took since the Munich Olympics, she's also been the flag bearer in an excellent campaign to aid senior fitness in conjunction with Age NI. Mary, I'm utterly thrilled that you've decided to join us to help us work our way through Fit Round the Table and enabling people to get fit in their golden years. But before we start that, I want to explore with you your feelings about fitness in older age. And for you, when did you start thinking about being fit in older age?
I've always kept fit. Since I was a little girl, I had an older brother who inspired me because everything he tried to do, I tried to do better. So then I became an athlete and wanted to improve in all my skills. I started off at school doing the 100 and 200 yards and the high jump and long jump, and then I was asked to do a pentathlon. Had to learn new skills of putting the shot, which was very undignified for a lady, and doing the hurdles, which was very difficult for me because I wasn't very supple. Ever since those early days when I was 16 starting to do the pentathlon, I've kept myself fit. I exceeded at the Olympics and then went on to own a health club where for 25 years I kept everybody in Lisburn fit as I could, whether they were athletes or old age pensioners or recovering from an operation. And so I kept myself fit over all those years because I wanted to show an example.
And through all those years, learning about keeping people fit, what were the special challenges that you faced in enabling seniors to keep fit?
The most important thing was to give them something simple and then improve it as they got better at it. Never asking them to do something that I didn't think they would be able to do. It's important to adapt your skills of coaching or training to the people that you're dealing with. And the very simplest of exercises sometimes can be very difficult for people because they've never had to do it before. So the coordination of even bringing their fingers together and doing a kneading of an imaginary ball can be difficult for some people.
And of course, it's very important to establish the same language, because if I say keep your arms straight, for some people that means really straight. For others, that means sort of straight.
Yeah.
So it's getting those things right is hard too.
But it's also making sure that they understand what you're telling them to do. I think I find it hard sometimes when I was being coached to know what my coach was expecting of me. And sometimes it's good to see yourself on camera so that you can see whether you're doing it correctly or not.
Well, we'll have that opportunity in a minute, but just one last question before we get to that point, and that question is, how do you maintain your motivation at your age?
Well, until recently I've been walking every day and enjoying it, not only because of the exercise, but the fresh air and the environment in which I was walking. Unfortunately, I have a slight back problem at the moment, and that restricts me, so I'm not able to go as often as I can. But I decided this year I would do Pilates, and that has been really enjoyable because when I was training, I had to do a lot of deep breathing, and Pilates includes that. So I've been getting air into my lungs again.
Absolutely great. So before you show me the exercises though, Mary, what I'd love to do is I'd love to have a look at how Move with Mary has been rolled out by Age NI. And we're going to take a look at one of those examples, which is the Tierman Fold in Belfast.
Comfortably more you're working your muscles and your bones.
So far the results have been really positive. People have reported a reduction in falls, they have reported an increase in their confidence, and they have reported an increase in going out and not being lonely, interacting with other people, and also a reduction in fear of falling, which is major. They've also said to us that, people who maybe have had a fall in the past, their family, the dynamic almost changes because the family come to visit, they're almost afraid of them tripping and falling again, even there's no need, so they feel disempowered slightly. So after this, the empowerment has come back.
That you're going to do their exercises in, make sure there's plenty of space, that it's nice and airy.
And how important has the Mary Peters programme Move with Mary been to this?
It has been essential, Mike, absolutely essential. Mary Peters exercises are wonderful. They're tailored to people who are living in this type of environment. People can either do them in the armchair, they can stand up and do them. We do a risk assessment first, just to make sure that people are able to take part in the assessment or their exercise so that it's safe for them. So really impactful, and people have reported the difference that it's made. They've really enjoyed them. So as well as it being a health improvement, it's also people's confidence improving and enjoyment of life. So really brilliant.
And what you'd love to hear is Mary has had loads of people come up to her all these years later and say, "We're still doing your exercises, Mary."
Absolutely, she is such a wonderful lady. She really is a legend as such, and she makes such an impact in so many people's lives, including our own. Of course, you don't have to be over 65 for Mary Peters to make an impact in your life, because those exercises are brilliant and they can be shared around with everybody, not just in a residential environment or a fold environment. That could be anybody in the community that can start. You should really start exercise at quite a young age to make sure your mobility is safer and to enjoy exercise, as well as, I say, improving health.
Isn't it great to hear how much the Move with Mary programme is making a difference to the lives of people in residential accommodation?
I find it extraordinary. It went viral. I had emails from Australia and Germany about people who are watching it. I think every nursing home or old people's home should encourage at least once a day, even if it's only 10 or 20 minutes of exercise. It keeps the mind active, it keeps the body supple, and it helps them sleep.
And that's, after all, why we're doing this now. So if you don't mind, I'd love to crack on with the exercises. If you would show me, Lady Mary, I'd be delighted. Thank you.
Delighted too. Mike, I want you to sit up straight, good posture, feet flat on the floor, and you're going to pretend you're marching as you sit in the chair. Lifting your knee as high as is comfortable, and you would do that for about 10 steps starting, and then you can increase that as you improve. Okay. The next exercise I want you to do is the marching, as though you were watching an athlete running down the track, elbow going behind you, and just relaxed but still with good posture.
I didn't realise how important arm movement was for runners.
I know. Your legs will only go as fast as your arms go. Keep your elbows bent. That's it.
Okay.
Good. And the third exercise is working the ankles. As we get older, our feet don't work as well as they used to. So pointing the toe upwards towards your knee and then pointing it towards the ground, and up and down, and that keeps a mobility in your ankle. And of course, don't forget the other foot. Again, 10 is a good guide to start with, and as you improve, you can increase the numbers. Well done, you're doing that very well, and you're retaining your posture.
Almost.
And the final exercise in this session is to mobility for your waist. Okay. So hold your hands in front of your chin, and then turn your elbow and follow all the way through.
And follow with your head?
Yes.
Okay.
And it doesn't need to be fast, as slowly as you feel comfortable. Again, I would suggest 10 repetitions. And you can smile as you're doing it, because it helps your facial muscles too.
One of the things I've been slow to recognise is that sometimes exercise done slowly is more beneficial than exercise done quickly.
And it's sometimes more difficult to do it slowly. That's good, well done.
Good. Okay.
Mike, the next exercise, you need a simple tea towel or a headscarf, and you twist and turn, and it works the wrist and finger joints. You have a go.
Okay, so.
Arms out straight.
Okay.
And rotate and back. Good. Oh, that's perfect. Good. And you can feel the movement in your wrist. You know when you go to open a jar of jam or something, it's hard sometimes to get that grip. Well, if you can keep your fingers and wrists strong, that'll make life easier.
I'm actually feeling that all the way up to my shoulders.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that good?
Yes, that's good. Well done. And the next exercise is a simple straight leg lift.
Okay.
So sitting comfortably, you 1 foot flat on the floor, and then raise the other leg as high as is comfortable, straight up and down, and you'll feel this in your hamstring at the back of your thigh.
Right at the back of my knee.
Yes. And do that 10 times, then put it flat on the floor and do the other leg. Sometimes the left leg goes more easily than the right. Okay. Our third exercise is the bicep curl. These are the bicep muscles. I've still got them because I used to put the shot. And you can either do it alternately, like this, pulling the other arm straight.
Okay.
Or you can do them both together, which is good, but straighten back. Good. That's good. And again, retaining that posture. That's called the bicep curl. And the final exercise is to stand from a seated position.
Okay.
Now, some people might hold on to a table or the back of a chair, or you can do it freely, standing up, taking a breath, and then sitting down again. This works all the leg muscles. Standing up, take a breath, and then sit down again. And there's no harm in holding on if you feel a bit unsteady. Use anything around you that is safe and firm, that you can have support. Well done.
That's easy to do 3 of, but doing 10 of is obviously a bit harder. Yeah.
But you can take time. You can sit for a little while and then try a few more.
Okay.
Don't have to do 10 all at one go.
And you don't have to do them fast.
No, you don't.
Thank you.
Okay, Mike, for the next few exercises, I'd like you to stand, but I want you to have access to something to hold on to.
Okay. Right.
So it could be the edge of the sink in the kitchen, or it could be a firm chair, or anything that you know won't move as you're moving. And the first exercise I want you to do standing is heel raise.
Okay.
So hold on and go up on your toes and down again, keeping your back nice and straight. Up as high as you can and hold for a second and then down again. And up and down again. Now the next, again, we'd repeat that 10 times to start with.
I have a slight tendency when I do that to go over on the sides.
No, keep them straight.
Okay,
yes.
Cool, thank you.
The next exercise is much more difficult and you will need to hold on, and that is raising your toes as you stand straight. Now, it might be easier to do them alternately.
Okay.
So do your left or right first and down, and the next one up and down. To do both at once is very difficult. So take some support.
I'm feeling quite safe because I've got a chair and a table. So I'm going to risk doing both at once.
Oh wow, that is very difficult. So I would suggest to start with, do them alternately.
Okay.
You're just showing off.
I know that if I'd let go when my toes were in the air, I was over.
So that is keeping your feet very steady. Now, most people will only walk to the shops or walk round shops, but you still need to be able to keep your balance. And if you need a stick or if you need a trolley to hold on to, don't be embarrassed. Use it to your advantage. So we're going to repeat 10 times of each of those exercises. Now I want you to do a standing leg raise.
Okay.
Again, it's advisable to have a support.
Okay.
Raise your leg
Okay.
backwards
Right.
and then forwards.
Okay.
And as high as you can manage with comfort.
Okay, and when I go backwards, I feel it at the top of my hip.
That's right.
When I go forwards, I feel it down my hamstring.
That's quite right.
Okay.
So it's moving your body to make sure that if you have an emergency, you have control.
The thing about feeling something like a niggle in your hamstring or a niggle at the back of your hip, that's okay. But if it's really sore,
You don't do it.
yeah,
No,
you
that's
stop.
right.
Yeah.
Yes. So again, we'll repeat that a few number of times. Then we do a one-leg stand.
Okay.
Now, that is difficult, and I think it's advisable to hold on. Bend your alternate knee. I would call it either up or back. You're doing it up, I would have done it back.
Okay.
And you're holding the weight on this one leg.
There's a difference between how it feels doing it there
Yes.
and doing it there.
Well, you can do both.
You can do both. Yeah. Okay.
So that again is to be repeated.
Now, I cheated.
Oh, did you?
Well, because I deliberately left my left leg on the floor because it's the stronger one.
Yes.
And lifted my right leg. We'll see a different thing when I do it the other way around. Much more cautious because I know that I'm not good on my right leg.
But you see, if you practice those and when you've mastered 10 repetitions, then you can go on to 12 and 15. It's an improvement every week by doing it regularly. It's no point in doing it today and then leaving it for a month because you'll have lost the motivation. Keep going 2 or 3 times a week. Now the next exercise is the knee bend squat. Again, I would take the back of a chair,
Okay.
hold on with both hands,
Yes.
and facing the legs of the chair
Yes.
with your feet a little bit apart, you're going to pretend you're sitting down, and it's
Okay.
called a squat.
Okay.
Keep your posture, head up high, and push your hips back and down. And this is strengthening both the front and the back of your thighs.
I heard somebody say once that if you pretend you're going to sit on the toilet, that will be one of the safest ways to do it.
Absolutely. I used to do that with 860 pounds on my shoulders.
Never.
Moving it about that much. Couldn't do it with 100 now.
Yeah.
And now, the most difficult of all those exercises, in my opinion, is heel to toe walking.
Okay. Heel to toe walking. Okay.
As though you're on a tightrope.
Okay.
Good. Now you might have to take the chair with you to keep the support. As you improve, you'll be able to do it
It
without
depends
any-
how far you want me to go.
Well, I'd like you to go to the edge of the carpet, and you can take my arm if you'd like
Okay.
to help you keep your balance. Now you won't
I see what you mean about, that is, you would think that it's the sort of thing in our 20s and 30s we'd have done with a blindfold on.
Absolutely.
But it's a lot different in your 70s
and 80s.
and 80s, absolutely.
You know, if people are caught with too much alcohol, and the police used to get them to try and walk
Yes,
heel to toe to
that's
prove
right.
whether
Yeah.
they were
Yeah.
capable or not.
Yeah.
But we don't do it in our old age because there's no reason for us to. But if you can find something like a stair rail or something to hold on to, it makes it so much easier for you to be able to do it. So those are another session of exercises. You can add the first 2 and make that the 3rd set as you get fitter and healthier.
And of course, one of the things that happens after exercises, we remember to warm up. We don't always remember to cool down properly. And that's very important.
If people are tired, they'll want to just sit down, but it is important to cool the body down again.
So can you show me some cool down exercise?
We need to sit again, Mike.
That's fine.
So I'd like you to stand again, Mike. And we're going to gently rotate the upper body, but keep your head steady.
So I don't follow.
No, not this time.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Just gently moving from side to side. Just stretching the upper body. Then put your arms to your side, and I want you to reach to the sky alternately, as high as you can stretch, so you're getting the maximum stretch of the spine, up and up as you can go.
And I'm really feeling that in my shoulders,
Good.
really big time. Yeah.
That's good. And finally, I want you to just do a walking on the spot.
Okay.
But again, support yourself so that you don't lose your balance.
I just did. So that was a good call.
Yes. I think that's probably enough
Okay.
for one day.
That's fabulous.
I've loved showing you, Mike, and you've done them very well.
Well, thank you very much for that. I've really, really enjoyed this session, Mary. It's been fabulous. And I'm going to use the exercises
Good.
because they strike me as good exercises. I could feel different parts of my body working, and I could feel that I'd done exercise,
Yes.
which I think is very, very important.
But you shouldn't be tired at the end of it. Do within your own capability. And I'm observing that you have a bottle of water. I'm very impressed. It's very important to take a drink in between your exercises, even if it's only a sip, to keep yourself hydrated. And the older you are, the more water you need.
In that case, I need a lot of water. Mary, it's been an absolute delight having you here today, having you show us these exercises. Absolutely fabulous. Thank you so much for taking the time and the trouble to do this with us, because it will help people who watch Fit Round the Table to get fitter in their older age. And now we turn to Dr. Catherine Hughes, our resident nutritionist, who's going to talk us through what we should be eating and drinking to keep ourselves healthy in older age. That was good. Really, really interesting set of exercises there. We're going to talk now to Dr. Catherine Hughes about nutrition needs in exercise in seniors. Catherine, thanks very much for dropping in today. What's on the, I was going to say menu, but that's the wrong word. What are we going to talk about today?
Today we're going to talk about our bones. So we're going to talk about our bones and preventing osteoporosis. So osteoporosis is when you get brittle bones. They turn a little bit into chalk, and you might be at an increased risk of fracture. Lots of people are walking around with osteoporosis and they don't even know they have it until they break a bone.
That's frightening, because if you have a condition and you don't know you have it, you can't guard against it. So what do we do?
So 3 things. You need exercise, you need vitamin D, and you need calcium.
Exercise, vitamin D and calcium. Now those are 2 supplements. Most of us are pretty bad at taking supplements.
Yeah.
How do we make that happen?
So for calcium, we can get that through our diet. So we can meet our calcium needs by taking foods rich in dairy. We can eat yogurts, but vitamin D is the problem one. Vitamin D, we don't have enough of it in our diet. It's not in a lot of foods. We actually have to make vitamin D by exposing our skin to sunlight. Now, we're in Northern Ireland. We don't have a lot of sunlight. We can only make vitamin D from basically the end of March to September. And then the rest of the time, we're not making vitamin D. So actually, we have to take a vitamin D supplement during winter months.
Does that have any side effects?
No, you're taking a low dose supplement. It's 10 micrograms per day. At that level, that's enough to maintain your status to protect your bones. Now, if you are somebody that doesn't go outdoors a lot, doesn't expose your skin, has darker skin, or is covered up a lot during summer months, you might want to recommend taking a supplement all year round, because the benefits of optimizing your vitamin D are way more important than any concerns over supplements.
I've recently started being less frightened of the sun, which is probably a stupid thing, but because of the possibility of skin cancer. But nowadays, I probably deliberately in the summertime will expose myself to direct sunlight for about 15 minutes a couple of times a day. Is that a good idea?
Yeah, you make vitamin D between the hours of 11 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon in summer. So if you expose your skin for 10 to 30 minutes across that time, doesn't have to be consecutive, then you'll make enough vitamin D to maintain your status. But you have to balance that as well. You're not going to get a sunburn and damage your skin. So it's a risk benefit that you have to play up.
So the learning in that is from 11 o'clock in the morning until 3 in the afternoon?
To 3 in the afternoon.
Wow, that's a short window, really.
It is, and think about it as well. The way I think about it, take a supplement from Halloween to St. Patrick's Day, and that'll protect you.
Or cover all bases and take vitamin D every day.
Every day.
So I'm sorry, we've possibly given away the hot tip already, but I'm going to come back to it anyway. Do we have a hot tip?
The hot tip is take that vitamin D supplement in the winter time, and if you're not out a lot, take it the whole year round.
Dr. Catherine Hughes, thank you very much. Look forward to talking to you next time.
Thanks.